Hi, I'm theciaellis and welcome to Grandma's Homestead. Okay, it's time for the second in the series of the weekly update for 2024, and I have to admit I'm kind of looking forward to doing this one because I'm pretty sure there's some changes on the homestead that's happened since the last video, and I can look at one of them right now, just a moment. First, let me back up for a moment and say it's Oklahoma and it's getting to be springtime and the wind is high. So that's the reason I started videoing here, so we won't have the wind noise for at least this part of it. I just did get a notification that we're under not only a wind advisory, but a fire advisory. Wildfire advisory, which always makes me nervous because we haven't done anything with this property in years and years and years as far as keeping it mowed and stuff. But I'm hoping I learn to drive the tractor this year and actually take the time to get things mowed and down, because my little bit of animals I use for keeping it graze is pretty minimal for this many acres, but it's the way it is. So yes, wind, and it's gorgeous outside though. Let's go find out. Right off the bat, one thing has changed is all these plants were inside and I've taken them outside. So that it looks like they need to be watered though, which makes, because I didn't have to water them very much inside because it was, well, I didn't get any wind, and there's a lot of wind here, but they got them. And I've been keeping this watered and it looks pretty rough, but then at the same time I see some green. That's because, but it's dry again too. The strawberries keep trying to revive if I would keep it watered. I'll do that when I get back from doing this video. But yeah, my parsley lasted almost all winter. Then this last one, then where it got down into the teens, it says I'm done. So we may have to clear this whole thing out and start all over for the year. We'll have to see. When I set Roger up, the rabbit, in this cage, I had put a roof on top of it. You can see the blue, and I've also got the shower curtain for rain and stuff. But the sun is still so far south that the poor rabbit was still getting too much sun, so I had to get a towel. And I wanted to check, and it looks like it's working. He's staying in the shade and staying relatively cool, and I'm glad for that because it's going to be like 80 degrees today. But yeah, it's not time for dinner yet. It's getting close though, isn't it? My dog's trying to get away from the heat in their own shade, and yes, this looks so janky, but it is what it is. I don't know. I'm going to have to just keep on working for what to do for skirting until then, especially when we get the north wind. This is what we're doing to keep our pipes from freezing. They're not going to freeze anymore, I don't believe, anyway, but you know, still the skirting underneath it just kind of blows and has a good time regardless of how much we put up against it. Oh yeah, definitely seeing some changes. I even see a little bit of a bud, and I'm seeing some leaves trying to come out on my peach tree here. That's too cool. This is another tree that's starting to bud. I don't know. This is the one that has the messed up bark. I need to just look it up and write down which tree this is. Like, I want to tell you it's an apple tree, but it might be a peach. I don't know. It's hard to say. Well, for me, it is. Some nest being started there. I think it started. If it had been from last year, probably would have been already gone by now. That'd be cool. We'll have to check and see what that looks like next week, huh? This tree has a tag on it. It says FANSTIL, fan still. I was thinking it was I don't know what kind of tree this is. There's a little bit of life showing on it, and then we've got this thing that's coming up on the side of it here that's more vertical. Might be interesting to see how that goes, and I believe that's above a graft, so maybe it is true to form. I don't know. I'm not seeing a lot of change to my pear tree here, except because, well, I mean, it still needs to be pruned, and it's still not showing any signs of a lot of budding or anything. So, and that's not too surprising. These kind of have a tendency to go later in the year. Yeah, I'm seeing a little bit of green coming out from these buds too on the plum tree. So that's neat. So maybe we'll start seeing some leaves and blossoms coming from this tree pretty soon. This has been a pretty good producing tree, but it sure looks rough. It just looks like it's just had a rough life in this wind. This is a portion of my north garden that I've started clearing out. This is a part of the garden that I was wanting to do squashes, and not summer squash, but winter squashes, watermelons, maybe okra and stuff like that. So I'm just kind of getting clear. We didn't plant it last year like I wanted to, so it's really in bad shape. But I'm starting to get that cleared, so hopefully we can get that planted this summer or this spring. And I guess Beethoven's digging a spot. And I think on the previous video you can see where I had started clearing some of this out in the south garden. And Tom's done a lot of work too since then. I was just clearing the big stuff up. And then Tom came in here and started tilling up the ground. Not tilling it, he does the broad fork and then rakes it. And then we did manage to get some onions transplanted. Looks like I need to water them too, but I can do that. But we're actually getting something in the ground. That's pretty good. I think you can see it on the camera. It looks like somebody's already got a fire going over there. I hope they can get it put out before it gets way too bad. The good news was good news for us is that's to the north of us and the wind is from the south. And look at all this wild garlic and that's come up. Oops, I forgot to back it up, didn't I? There we go. Look at all that wild garlic. And I got all of the cages cleared, but I'm not seeing any asparagus coming up yet. It may be too early. I didn't get this clear between it, but I did get this last one cleared underneath it too. So at least that part's looking better. Hopefully in the next few days I can come out here and clear some more of this taller grass. I'm not seeing anything on the blackberry vines yet for leafing out. I know they're not going to bloom anytime real soon, but I'm not seeing anything that's new. But those are looking better all the time. They're actually getting some pretty good leaves. Yep, and I think these are my, what are those called? See, I'm wondering if that's a blackberry vine coming up right there. Or those 3 leaves. There's some leaves there. There's more in there than that, but I wonder if those are starting to come up. I don't know. But here's another of those. They're looking pretty good. This is one of my apple trees, and there's definitely signs of budding on some of them. Cool. See how that goes. These are, and I know I've told you this almost pretty much every time, but these apple trees that are down here on this fence line, the ones I had started from seeds a few years ago. This one's still kind of behind. Well, I was going to say it's kind of behind, but that one's looking pretty good. My garlic and elephant garlic in this bed is looking pretty good. So looks like they went through the winter pretty good, and I'm glad for that. My grapevines are still dormant, and I'm fine with that too, like I said. I guess I forgot to mention today is February 25th, 26th. And so with these guys have got probably about 4 or 5 more weeks before they're even going to start it. I could be wrong because everything is kind of going early this year, but that's kind of what it's looking like now. And no, I have not come out here and taken care of my asparagus beds yet. I think I'm going to be able to get out here this week and get it done, hopefully. But yeah, they're looking pretty rough. But at the same time, I'm not seeing anything new, so maybe we'll be okay. But I'll get out here and see if we can get these beds kind of worked properly and looking better. As far as the rest of the vineyard, it's a sad looking vineyard. I was out here working the other day trying to get some of this stuff pruned up, and it's sad looking. Amongst all this tall overgrowth though, lots more green grass underneath it. Now I just prepared this morning and videoed it, so you saw that on my last video that I put out. But this is getting ready, and the paddock itself will go up in there and come almost to the driveway. But at least mostly set up. I've got the poles set up, but that's all I got. And I'm gonna have to steal the poles from the old paddock and get them over here. That's why I put the center thing in. I heard all the pigs in there and let them enjoy their feed while I hurry up and get the rest of and then hopefully get it closed off, and then get the bigger paddock set up and turned on, and hopefully that'll go well. We'll find out. I'll try to video it too when it does happen. I'm not seeing a lot of difference on this tree. It's got a lot of those bagworms on it that came down last year. Those are just the leftover bags from it, but I'm not seeing any budding or anything other than that. So last week I wasn't sure what was going on with this tree, and because I'm ignorant of this stuff, but this is definitely tree, and that's definitely pollen type stuff. And I wouldn't be able to tell you which kind of tree it is, but it's definitely has gotten, the pollen things have gotten bigger, and so it's definitely coming out of its winter slumber. The oak tree looks like they're starting to lose some leaves, but not a whole lot. There was a tree on the north side of the barn that was starting, it was losing more leaves. So we should start seeing some more or fewer oak leaves, and then start seeing some budding on that too. That would be pretty cool. Well, that did work out kind of like the way I was hoping it to. You could see some changes, and I'm glad. I was hoping to see some more things, seeing some more budding and everything, and what has budded is looking good. We're not supposed to get anything below freezing at least the next 10 days, but we do have all the wind. It's like it is like spring is here, and I know it's what I say, February. It is February 26th, and so we're probably going to get more cold weather again. We usually don't. Our last frost date is sometime in April. Like I want to say, seems like that you don't ever plant your summer stuff until after April 15. That seems like that's what, and you might have weeks and weeks and weeks of really good weather, and you get out there, and even the week before April 15, you go out there on April 8, and you're going, okay, 10-day forecast looks real good. Let's go ahead and get a jump on it and plant stuff. And 2 days later, it gets below freezing and you lose everything. So I don't even try to do any of my summer stuff until after April 15. So basically, that's 7 weeks away. But I'm going to enjoy this weather and watch everything go as I see it, and tell you about it. That's all I got for you today, except I was going to talk to you. I don't know how many of you guys will be interested in this part of it, but I got to tell you about it anyway. Kinsey, my granddaughter, whom we are raising, she has expressed a desire to go to college and hoping to get a scholarship to college through softball and maybe even academics too. She's a teenager. She doesn't know, but she knows she wants to do softball so far. But so I was trying to do what they called Huddle, H-U-D-L, but apparently our school's small enough that they don't. There's a couple of the sports, like a football, and there was some other sport that they did it. Oh, it was basketball, but nobody's posting anything on them, and nobody certainly is posting anything on Huddle for softball. And so I decided to kind of take matters into my own hands, and what Huddle was supposed to be is a way for scouts to see how an athlete was doing and see if they'd be worthy to go to their college under scholarship. So I started the Kinsey Lackey Sports channel, and what I've done is here recently, like toward the end of the basketball season, I did 2 videos of each game. So like when they went to district, I did what I call an unedited version. I stop at timeouts and stuff like that, but basically whether Kinsey was on the floor or not or anything like that, that whole version goes out. So this is usually an hour or so long. And then I did an edited version, which some of them were kind of short, but so if a scout was to want to check into it, because I post that version on X, Twitter, whatever you want to call it, and so because I understand scouts do that too. But now we've started a recreation league for softball. She was wanting to do competitive, but she's going to be 18 in September, so that made her not qualified to be able to be part of that team. So she's doing the recreational, which is fine because that gets her out on the field and playing. And then when the school softball starts in July, she'll be prepared and looking good then, I believe. So that's what we're looking at. Kinsey Lackey Sports, and so if you know a scout, especially in the Oklahoma area, if she wants to go somewhere else, it's up to her. But I don't know. This is something I'm doing for her, and yeah, that's part of the reason I don't get some of my videos out in a timely manner too. Because I went to a game yesterday. Well, it was two scrimmages. We were there for hours, and it's because it was a scrimmage, so they stopped a lot and they talked a lot and everything like that. And I burned up 2 batteries on my camera, and I have to admit I was glad that was over. So I'm working on going through that footage now. so I can get it up. But as you can tell, I stay busy. I get things, I'm always doing some sort of video. I'm always doing something around, and I love seeing what's happening in the world. I pray that you find stuff that keeps you going too. Whatever it is, whether it gets you outside, whether it gets you up on the computer researching something, doing something. In fact, I've got another project on research that I'm wanting to do there too, and there's like 3 different things I'm wanting to write up. I don't know how I'm ever going to get it all done, but you know what? I ain't bored. All right, guys, I'm going to let you go. I don't know if I'm going to have a sunset for you or not. We'll have to see, but God bless. I'll see you next time.